work session for discussion only, and we've got a pretty heavy agenda, and we'll get through as quick as we can. But before we do that, I will ask Councilman Embry to deliver the invocation.
Let's all pray. Dear Heavenly Father God, we're thankful for another day on your earth. Father, we thank you for the beautiful weather that we've had today. Lord, we thank you for the rain you've sent us recently. Lord, we know you don't send it to us unless we need it. Father, we know that there are several of our community that are sick, that may be shut in. Lord, maybe there's even been ones that have lost loved ones. Father, we ask that you comfort them as only you can. Father, we ask that you help us to be your hands and feet on this earth, Lord, as you called us to be. Lord, we ask a special prayer for our folks that work for us, Lord, the police, fire department, Lord, and all the other employees. Father, we ask that you keep them safe, Lord. We ask that you be with this nation, help them to make the right decisions, Lord. Be with us in this meeting, Father, as we have been elected to do what's right by all people in this town, Father, and we pray that we will do that tonight. Lord, we pray that you would please forgive us when we sin, and it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
And let's stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember King Bailey.
Here.
Councilmember Newton.
Here.
Councilmember Jones.
Here.
Councilmember Embry.
Here.
Councilmember Mason.
Here.
And Mayor Cox.
Here. Okay, before we get to general town business, a couple of housekeeping items. I have a couple of presentations, a couple of check presentations for some donations the council made a couple of weeks ago. As a representative from LCHS track, is that track and field? Anybody from LCHS track and field? Okay, we'll get that to them. And representative from the DFW, local DFW. Okay. This was an appropriation, a donation we made a couple weeks ago. I will just meet you up front and deliver this to you. There you go. Glad we could help out. You're welcome. Thank you for your service, and please pass that along from all of us, all of you at the VFW Post. Thank you for all of your service. You want to post or put a picture? I'll just get it. If you want to stand in front, I'll get that in point. Thank you so much. Okay, general town business. I believe we have a representative from Youth League Baseball and Youth League Softball. So if you want to come forward and introduce yourself, and we'll turn it over to you.
Craig Jackson with the youth softball.
Jamie Hamlin with Dixie Youth Baseball.
The reason we invited you guys is for all the concerns that we were hearing and everything, and I know you were seeing all of them as well. So if you could, just air your concerns at the park, let us all know.
We definitely want to help with that. Some of the things we may not be aware of, so just.
Mainly the thing is the big thing's the lights. So the lights it's not bad on the whole field, but it's mainly the big softball field, or some out on the big baseball field. Well, I know there's been some quotes went out back and forth and stuff, and I followed up on that stuff this evening with Chase, Well, is there any way we can look in the near future of getting a new system, LED lighting system?
If we're actually looking for grants or anything like that, would help us out with. For right now, our budget can't even afford one field, just to be honest with you.
So I talked to Jimmy Jumper,
Yep.
this evening as well. We don't have to do every pole,
That's right.
so we can do at each dugout with LEDs.
Yeah.
And upgrade the regular, what is it, the halide light bulb or whatever,
Yeah.
and that's gonna cut down on a real.
The only problem with that is you run into changing out all the ballast and everything, because the existing ballast will not work on the LEDs. So you gotta have a different ballast, different run of the poles and all that, because you gotta take the runners down on the poles. And so that's where all your expense comes in, is when you take the runners off the poles. And we've already discussed that all with Jimmy, so, that's why it's actually more feasible to do one complete field instead of trying to do metal halide and LED together. Because you run into the cost of the, like I said, the ballast and changing all the runners out.
Other than that, the stuff that we have got this year, the athletic mix, the, stuff for the ryegrass, that's gonna be, that's at tremendous, like, rate.
Good deal.
And, the fields look good. We just, there was some things that we walked around and looked at, me and Jimmy, you know, upgrade the dugout, maybe put some paint on them. And which, I know that should be on parents and coaches, but coming from a coaching standpoint, it's hard to, you know, work a regular job, then get volunteers, then, you know, supply their own, you know, get that money to get the paint out of the, like fundraisers, let's say. You get that money out of your fundraiser, well then we don't have the money to pay owners. Then, you know, we gotta get cheap uniforms and this and that, it's just, and it takes, to me, it takes time away from the coach, coaching the sport, fixing the fields. That's my big thing.
I know that's good enough to do now, especially, but, you said something about the dugouts. What can we do? I know you said just kind of clean them up, paint them up, but you had a couple ideas too that maybe,
Yeah, maybe redo the tops of it to where they sit on the fence post,
yeah,
instead of having that little tubing stuff, cause it's broke and bent and banged.
and I can help with that sometime too. If we need to do that, I would be glad to help with that. Whatever we can do to make it better for sure.
And so like, you can't just get anybody's parents up there to do.
No.
I can't, you know.
No, and it's tough, like I said, with the netting and stuff, we got all that hung, and I know that has to be maintained, I know that's, and it probably still needs some work redone, some rework done to it now, but, that's something we can help with too, you know, as far as I can help. I'm not scared of getting lit either, most of the time.
Yeah, but as far as the nets are concerned, and I'm not knocking Eddie and them do, you know, they keep a lot of stuff done up there, but that really probably should be a contractor that installs those to come in and put them back up right. Or maybe show them, hey, this is what y'all are gonna have to do every time you take them down and put them back up. Because you can go up there and none of the nets are really like they should be. And when they first went up, and somewhere in like 2010, 2011, that was when Dad got the grant for those. We didn't have near the balls getting out that we have now. Now, I think that's a lot of y'all's Facebook posts that we were seeing. I can't speak for softball side of it, but on the baseball side of it, I got that stuff took down pretty quick from when I was notified of it. I mean, I had already sent messages out to my coaches. Brady saw them, Danny saw them. I sent my message and was like, we're not gonna be on bashing the town. They do a lot, keeping the lights on, keeping the grass mowed, keeping the trash up, keeping So we're not gonna jump on what you parents and keyboard warriors think is wrong. So I put it into it. I even put it into one of his softball just because my daughter was on the team that put it out, and I went over there and was like, hey, we're not doing that either, shut it up, because like, we get that y'all are doing what you can, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that's been brought up. For the last 4 years, I've told Danny, we have broke fencing, just flat out broke fencing, and it's getting to the point, and it's way past the point, the gate won't even close, because the top rails are broke, which keeps tension on your main posts. So now our posts for our gates are like this. And we literally have a bungee cord holding it shut. So in Lexington and Brooks, and when we have our mid-season tournament, and I've got Underwood and Central and Waterloo, and people from the Carver County side of the river up here, they get to walk around and see us with bungee cords holding our gate shut.
Can we replace the top rail? I mean, is
The
that?
top rail doesn't need to be
No,
replaced, it's the cap. The cap on the top rail that bolts into the uprights, it's been broke for years, and I've been saying, hey, I'm not even asking anyone to come do it, just get me the material. I mean, if I can't get people up there, I'll go do it myself, but, because that's the same thing. Now, I've been up there either coaching or on the board for the last 24 years now, and the sad thing is, 10% of people are doing 100% of the work, and that's not gonna change. It is what it is. But when it's like, hey, man, I just need this and this and this and this, and all I get told from Danny is, I tried, I can't get it for you. I'm like, well, at some point, look, those are y'all's fields, y'all just let us use them, but I'm not gonna, I got 7 kids, I can't afford to go buy stuff out of my own pocket. I'm just being honest, right? It's not gonna happen.
Do you know how many top rail ends that we possibly need?
Lord, no, me and Brady and Craig walked it the other day, and it's ad nauseum.
Yeah, did you count any of them there to know how many of the clips or the ends of them we need?
No, I couldn't tell you how many, do you know how many?
No, I mean.
Surely we can buy
Hey,
them.
I'm being honest with you, Jonathan. I know you do like industrial work. If you'll take 2 hours, because it'll take that long, and you start walking all them fences and walking around looking at gates and stuff, the hinges are broke, the hinges ain't right, they're bent, they're missing parts, they're cracked and broke, and you start taking a list, you better bring that legal pad, because you're gonna fill up probably the whole thing.
We're talking about, please, if you get that fence, we won't get you probably not talking about much money at all.
Yeah.
You know, a couple $100, like probably $1,000.
Yeah.
For them to come here and waste all.
Fixing those holes in the fence line would be another story. There's a lot of places where the bottom is bowled out or bowled in. I think why you're gonna need a fencing company up here to give an estimate on that.
And like I said, I'm not even really deal with softball, but if you go look at that little girl center field fence, there's about this much washout where you can see the concrete in the post, and the ball's just, and there's roots out there, like if somebody gets a ball out there, I mean, but like, to address the Facebook comments, like, all I do is try to control them, and I'm doing the best I can. I'm not gonna say them all, but like I literally threatened the last person with, you're either gonna take them down, or you're gonna be banned from the park for the remainder of the season, because we're not doing that crap. That ain't getting us nowhere. So I don't think for me or Craig, anyone's gonna tell you we don't appreciate what we do get, but a lot of what we keep talking about is actual structural things that we've been addressing for years, like, hey, we need help, we need help, we need help.
And I have brought it up, and I have brought up the fencing, I brought up the backstop, I brought up the caps, I brought up redoing the fields, and, I did get that approved. So, I understand that, and the fields are gonna be $30,000 a piece, and I've even brought that up. And, so we gotta find some money somewhere. The only place we can do that's through a grant or something like that. And we're looking, but right now we haven't found one.
I mean,
That'll cover all of it.
I mean, it ain't no different than anything else, right? I mean, it's just like a house up there, right? So you got field 4 and field 1 was completed 96, and field 2 and
Yeah.
3 was finished in the spring of '97. So we've got 30-year-old fencing that's,
And patched and things, yeah.
and which was my question 4 years ago when we got the black powder coating fence put up in the baseball field. We didn't ask for it. And I said, why did we do black powder coating and why is that fence there? And it was, well, we're tearing down the back fence to build a parking lot. And I said, okay. And then Richard come through asking how I liked it. And I said, yeah, we love it. It just doesn't match. And that's when he told me and 2 other of our board members, we had a plan that we was about to start replacing all the fencing in black powder coating. And then when I brought that up to you, I got told, never heard of that.
That's right.
So, I mean, that's where a lot of the frustration comes from, is you've got people walking through saying, oh, we're taking care of this, we're taking care of that, we're doing this and that. And it's been 4 years and we still kind of look.
I even brought it up this year, that,
It's,
you know, we're gonna have to rebuild at least one field a year. And, to do that means we're gonna have to shut down one probably during the season and play away all games, and I already spoke to y'all about that. But we're gonna have to rebuild one at a time.
we can probably split some, like me and Craig probably have to work some stuff out. Like, I know they don't wanna play on grass infields, but
Right.
instead of them having to play away and age group all the time,
Yeah.
we might have to work it in, but we can figure that out if that's the case.
What if you do it during the off season, you know?
Right.
It's like the older kids, 10 and 12 years, get to where they're playing volleyball now, instead
Right.
of volleyball, with that rec volleyball, or whatever the travel volleyball is.
Yeah.
So we don't have a fall team really,
Right.
in softball. It's just mainly 6 year, 8 year, it's that age group.
Right.
But if say the big field's down, that fall, could we work fall, winter, into the spring, like, into the start of spring, get that one fixed? And then the next year, or the next season, the next fall, move the little field to the big field, and then play on that field, when we fix it up.
And I mean, in all honesty, I'll just, not that I'm advocating for them, but I would do the big softball field first too, because when you drive into the park, that's the first one you see, and if it was like the nice black powder coating and we go top on it, too, like, man, they got a nice, now when they walk to the back there, they're gonna be like, what the? But, nonetheless, it make the park look better as you was rolling in to see that one done, so. And I guess I'll advocate for softball on this one, like, it would look better.
Well, I think we have a good picture of the major issues going on in the ball fields. We'll continue looking for money, looking for grants, and we'll keep the lines of communication open.
Yeah. I'm coming up.
I'm gonna be coming to ball games. We've talked about this, throughout the season, so I'll be seeing y'all sooner rather than
You know you're gonna see me.
And I'll bring my notepad with me.
I'll go up there and look around too, to try to make some notes and just see what kind of numbers we're looking at too.
Thanks, guys.
I appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Thank you. Okay, we have a representative from Flock Safety. Would you come forward and introduce yourself? And I believe you have printouts. This is probably essentially your PowerPoint presentation.
I hope so. I'm not quite sure what's in front of you.
I think it probably is.
Okay. Yeah, it's similar, so
Okay.
we can.
We'll let you talk, and then I'm sure we'll have questions. So go right ahead.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Mayor, members of council, thank you so much for having me this evening. My name is Kerry McCormack. I'm on the Public Affairs team at Flock Safety. So my goal this evening is just to give you a little bit of information about the company, what the town is looking at, and then also to answer any questions or concerns that you might have. I'm very happy to be here with you this evening. So I also want to thank the PD. I know this is here, I don't know, is Chief? Right, we haven't met in person yet, good to see you, Chief. So thanks for having us this evening. So just as a quick overview, Flock Safety is an American company. We were founded and are headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. Our technology and our products are in 49 out of the 50 states across the United States. The one exception being Alaska. I'm not quite sure why we're not up there yet, but we're not. So we are in 49 out of 50 states across the country, small towns, medium-sized cities to big cities. The whole range of communities across the country. And really, our mission is to support local law enforcement with our technology to allow them to do their jobs more efficiently, more effectively, to maintain and to provide safe communities for everyone to thrive in. We've got about 6,000 partner communities across the country. So again, that's all across the country. About 6,000 agencies work with us, and we've got about 1,500 businesses that work with us as well. So that is everything from homeowners associations to small mom and pops to larger retailers like Lowe's, for example. Major issues there with theft and other things that we work with them on. So really, what we're excited about is the impact that our tool can have when it's matched with great law enforcement work. So we know that folks across our country put a badge on every single day and leave their home and sacrifice quite a bit to keep our community safe. What our tool does is it enhances the work that they do. So we do not replace police officers and fire departments, but we enhance that work that they do. And really the way, and what we'll talk about tonight, are license plate readers. And we'll talk about what that is, what it isn't, and kind of how it can assist with local law enforcement. So a license plate reader is a fixed camera that focuses on a public roadway in a location in and around your community. Generally, they're put at entry and exit points of the community. And what they do is they take a photo of the back of a vehicle. So they capture the back of the vehicle, the license plate, and the make, model, color, things like that of the vehicle. The reason that's important is because the majority of crime that happens, whether that's retail, theft, whether that's as terrible as a homicide or child abduction, happens in the vehicle. So if you're able to identify that vehicle and pinpoint it, you have a much higher ability to bring justice to a family who's been victimized, and to hold people accountable as well in an objective manner, which we'll talk about in a moment. So the way that the cameras work is there are, whether it is a national database, a state, or a local list of license plates that have been associated with a crime. So how does that happen? Let's say someone robs a local bar or restaurant. That local bar or restaurant, either someone witnesses it, or let's say their local cameras catch the plate, make or model of the vehicle. You would call the police department, you say, listen, a blue Chevy, license plate ABC123, we caught it on camera robbing our restaurant. The police department would then put into the system Alabama ABC123 blue Chevrolet. And if that vehicle passes one of the cameras leaving your town or coming into your town, it's going to send an instant notification to your police department to say, hey, that vehicle you're looking for, ABC123, just passed the camera at this location. So on a regular basis, generally what would happen, at roll call or at the beginning of the shift, either the unit lead or the chief would say, hey, we're looking for a blue Chevy ABC123, and your patrol officers would be out in the community diligently looking for that vehicle, but of course, they're also responding to calls, they're also assisting citizens and things of that nature. So the cameras really allow to cut down significantly on that time and to efficiently pinpoint vehicles that have been associated with a crime or missing person, so that chief can then dispatch officers right away to the scene and identify that vehicle. A couple important points here is if your vehicle is not associated with a crime or missing person, no notification goes to the PD. They do not know that you crossed the camera. So it's only vehicles that have been associated with a crime or a missing person. We'll talk a little bit more about missing people here in a minute. Really important component of what the technology does. So captures the back of the vehicle. What it doesn't do, it does not capture the people in the vehicle. It does not have facial recognition. It does not have DMV information. So what the police departments would do is once they have identified the vehicle and an officer responds, they would initiate that traffic stop like any other stop with or without our technology. So we want them to first visually identify, yep, that's that blue Chevy ABC 123, and then they would initiate that stop, and they could run the plate or that the person's driver's license through their existing systems. So our systems do not pick that up. So an important component there. And again, they do not pick up personal characteristics of who's in the vehicle. So we get that question quite a bit. So just a couple other components. As I noted, it'll capture the back of the vehicle. Why is that important? Sometimes, especially with hit and runs, someone may say, you know, it was a blue Chevy, all I saw was A, B, C, or something of that nature. They didn't catch the whole plate. So you're able to utilize the technology and other evidence, put that together to help try to identify that vehicle. Or let's say someone's committing a string of retail theft and they switch the plate out, those types of things. The reason it's important that it captures the whole back of the vehicle is in case that something like that happens, they can get more information other than just the license plate. The cameras fully work at night, so we know that missing folks and people that commit crime travel at night as well, so they are fully operable in the evening. So really effective tool at adding capacity, especially in police departments that are struggling to hire or are limited on resources. It can really help with making that work much more efficient and quicker for your police department. And as I noted, obviously we think about crime when we think about the hard work of our law enforcement they do on a daily basis, but a tremendous amount of missing children through an Amber Alert, but also what we call Silver Alert, which is missing senior citizens, happen across this country every single day. So Amber Alerts and Silver Alerts are fully compatible with the system. So that means if a child goes missing in your community or in a nearby community, or let's say there's an individual that maybe suffers from cognitive challenges. We see this, unfortunately, when they may leave their husband or wife or their spouse will report them missing, and then the police department can, again, put that license plate in the system under a Silver Alert for seniors or a Amber Alert for children, and if that car with that child's driving in or senior drives by, it will alert the police department as well. Quite a few stories across the country where children and seniors have been brought home safely utilizing this technology. So, really effective tool for police departments, but we know too that privacy matters fundamentally in our society, and that is why there are significant features and pillars built into the system around privacy. So I'll just highlight a couple of those quickly for you. First of all, the data, so that's going to be the photos taken by the cameras, are 100% contractually owned by you. So the town and the police department own those images and decide if they want to share them with anyone. So why would you share the photos that the license plate reader takes or access to that? We know that whether it's a crime or a missing person, frequently those vehicles are leaving your town, driving across the region, even state, even country. Sometimes a homicide suspect from Ohio may be found in Georgia, or a missing child may be found 4 or 5 states over. So just like collaborative policing happens today, you can make the decision that you want to share that information with other law enforcement agencies. So let's say you had a missing child right here in the community, and they end up in Atlanta. And your police department entered that information into the system, and you're going to share with Atlanta or communities around Atlanta. If that child in that missing vehicle hits one of their cameras, it will notify you. So it'll say, hey, you put in that missing child or that suspect of a crime, and it pinged on a camera within the region or state. But importantly, you all make that decision whether you want to share or not. So we have nothing to do with that. You can share with nobody. You can share regionally. You can share just in the state of Alabama. You can share with the states around you. So those decisions are yours to make based on what you and the police department believe are the best for the community. Those private customers, so that Lowe's and that mom and pop, really important to note that they have no access to law enforcement databases. So we just really emphasize with our folks that they do not have any access to hot lists or police databases or anything like that. They can share information to law enforcement. So they can give it, but they receive nothing back. So let's say a retail store was robbed. Of course, they can send it over to the local PD for them to use in their investigation, but it's important to note that those private businesses receive no information. So, and we already talked about there's no facial recognition, and it just takes a picture of the publicly available information. So, importantly too, the photos and images are encrypted from front to back. So that means they are scrambled, you cannot access them, even if you go out there, we don't encourage people to do this, but if you bash a camera off a pole and you pick it apart, you're not going to get anything. The data is encrypted from front to back, and it is held securely on the AWS cloud, 100% of United States servers. So it is held right here in America, encrypted from front to back, and safely secured with a whole array of third-party and independent cyber validation. So, and I won't go through all of this, but the National Defense Act, FBI, SOC 2, which I don't expect anyone to know what that is unless you're a computer person. It's essentially an independent test that stress tests those servers to make sure that they're secure. And all of those tests are happening on a regular basis. So we have an entire team of engineers and cybersecurity experts that are ensuring that data is secure. Very important. So a little bit about transparency. Another important component of the system, you want to make sure it's being used properly. And that is exactly why every single search in the system, anytime an officer is using the system, they log in under a unique ID, and all of that activity is tracked. So why are they in the system? What are they looking for? Did it produce a result? And that is all kept in a permanent audit log. So what that means is if chief ever wants to go back and say, hey, how have we used this over the last 30 days? Or, hey, we're sharing with Atlanta. How is Atlanta looking at our system? All of that is kept into perpetuity so that you can go back and check in on the system and make sure it's being used in accordance with your community's wishes. And in addition to that, the photos themselves are deleted after 30 days. So while that activity log is kept forever so that you can make sure it's being used the way you want it to, the physical photos themselves are hard deleted off the system after 30 days. So why is that important? It's important because it allows enough time for chief and his officers to utilize those photos if they have a crime that they come across or a missing child, but it's a definitive time so that those images aren't sitting out there forever into perpetuity. Now, the only exception to that is chief or the officers can download a photo if it's associated with a crime that they're investigating to preserve for that investigation and then potential further prosecution, as they would with any other evidence. So just a couple other things too. We're proud of our partnerships. So we partner with Mothers Against Drunk Driving, as well as the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And that's especially because of the work that Tool has done around finding missing children and bringing them home to their families. In Alabama, we've got over 150 law enforcement agencies that we partner with across the state. And we've got just kind of a list of who those are. But we've also got, and I don't know if you guys have this in your packet, my apologies, but various real-world examples of how the technology is used on a regular basis. It's good to talk about how it works and what it is and it isn't, but I think what the community cares about is what is the impact. So we've seen across the country, but also here in Alabama, all sorts of examples. So we've got one in front of us in Lynette of a missing senior located. Again, these are real stories that are local news stories. So we didn't come up with them, the local news did. Important work that the police utilized the cameras to find a missing senior citizen. In Jefferson County, a capital murder that was solved utilizing the technology. Again, that's, obviously on the most heinous of crimes, but important that when those things happen, that folks are held accountable and those families get justice. And then we've also got an example of a burglary case as well. So we're proud of the product, how effective it is, how it can help your law enforcement really expand their ability and bring efficiency into the department, and then also the privacy and transparency components that are built into the system to make sure it's being used exactly how you all want it to get used. If you're sharing that information, it's only with who you all want to share it with, and that all of that activity is logged in perpetuity so that you've got a trail of how the system's being used if you ever have a question. So that was a lot. But I'm more than happy to hang out and answer questions. But thank you for me.
I have a couple of questions. I think you answered some of these already, but as far as who owns the data, the town owns the data entirely.
That is correct.
And the town is in control of who has access to that data.
Yes, sir. And that is in the contractual terms. And you completely control who accesses that data. So again, when you sign up with the company, you're at zero share. And most customers do choose to share because they collaborate with law enforcement around them, but at different varying levels. Some just do it within their state, some do nationwide, but that is completely up to you.
And that can be situation dependent if there is a missing person from out of state, go on case by case basis.
Yes, sir. So
federal authorities or out of state agencies.
So and that's a great point. You can also turn it on and off. So let's say, I keep picking on Atlanta, forgive me, but let's say Atlanta reaches out and says, we believe there's a suspect in your area. Chief could enter into a sharing relationship with Atlanta. Okay, suspect is caught, and then turn that off. So that's all up to you all. Or you could keep it on, that sharing relationship, so that further issues, you can collaborate on, but all those controls are held locally.
And the data is only in the cloud by default for 30 days.
That is correct.
Can you download video or only screen captures?
So the license plate readers are only photos, but for live cameras, yes, you can download video.
Anybody else?
Would you kind of go into detail over the professional services and the bundle implementation that's listed here?
Yeah, I'm sorry, on the actual proposal itself.
What all does that include?
Yep, so so it looks like we've got 3 total LPRs, Chief, is that, or? Two total LPRs, so that is 2 cameras, and they, generally are gonna focus in an entry and exit points of the community. Important to note, so a lot of times, historically cities would, or communities would buy cameras as a large capital investment. I know that, I used to be a city council person, by the way, I didn't say that coming in, so thank you for your service. We would put these massive capital budgets out, and then in 5 years, they were obsolete. And we were talking about getting more money to replace those cameras. So what you have in front of you is a subscription model. So it's on an annual basis. All maintenance, any issues like that is all baked into this, fully covered. So if a camera starts to malfunction, they're very high quality, but if it starts to malfunction, you have an issue, chief is saying, I'm not getting the reads I need on this thing, that is completely covered in the contract. So, and the other thing too is, so this is a 3-year contract. The other important thing to know is if you all, at the end of the contract or at the notice date say, we appreciate this, but it hasn't worked the way we want it to, then there's a clause in there that you notify us, and that's it. We pull the cameras out and we say thank you so much for your business. So that's one of the things that we're proud of. We have to earn your business. We have to show you that ROI to make sure that it's working for your community.
Is there a way to get over the contract early or only at the end of 3 years?
So, to be honest, I haven't read your contract, but generally there is a clause, yes. If it's either for, generally it's for, like, you had a budget or you had a grant in mind and it fell through. So failure for funds or, other clause like, and again, this is not common, but let's say your cameras are just a mess, right? They're not working for some reason. and you're showing that, those types of things are generally in there. And usually it's on an annual renewal basis. So usually they're on an annual renewal, and there's usually a 30-day period prior to a specific date, where you would opt in or opt out.
Is there any other towns close to us that are using this system that would directly help us as far as like if it's Florence and Athens, both, then we're the mediator
Yeah,
to
so,
help catch?
do you know,
Yes, Florence, Athens, Muscle Shoals, Lauderdale County, I think Limestone County, not 100%, but yes, it's all around us.
so into your, Councilman, to your question on that, you're spot on. So the way that would be helpful is now you would collaborate with all those communities around you, and if you choose to share with them, which it seems like would probably be a good idea, again, not my decision, it's the town's decision, then you're all in the network. And so if there is a crime or missing person, you're automatically working together, that information is being shared. And again, importantly, this is only information tied to a crime or missing person, only accessible by law enforcement.
So Chief, basically the answer is everybody but us, almost, really and truly? Okay.
And we're proud that, like 95% of our customers, something like that, re-up.
That's awesome.
And that's because and some that don't, it's funding or other issues like that, so. But again, we have to earn your business. We have to show you that it's impactful.
How many missing cases have this been solved with
So-
the system here?
Yep, so, the local, that's all held locally, the data, but we ran essentially a research study a year and a half ago, and I think the number's 1,000 nationwide using the cameras, and that's just our cameras. So, and again, that is the good work of local law enforcement, but the tool helps them identify that, so.
How big or physically large are these cameras? They're pretty nondescript.
That's right. They're in the public right away. So if you're really looking for one, you can find it. But they're not very big.
Even says Anderson, has them.
Yeah, our account representative for this area, I think he had a little bit of a different slide deck than I do, so I'm glad to see you got all that information.
Some of your company's cameras have the shot spotter technology. That may be a different company, shot spotter, but some of your cameras have that technology. But that's not a part of this.
That's correct. So, great question, Mayor. So we have a variety of products. So we have gunshot and audio detection technology. So that is going to detect gunshots. And we find that especially helpful in areas of the community that are hesitant to report crime, generally more in bigger cities. And they're able to notify police right away. We know gunshot victims in a moment, minutes can matter whether they live or die. We also offer drones, which we're actually seeing a lot more fire departments and EMS utilize those, because if there is an accident or a fire, they can be there in like 60 seconds. So I know my hometown in Cleveland, the fire department just brought on drones. And the reason is the moment that a call for a fire comes in, they can be 400 feet above a warehouse or a home, telling the fire department exactly where to go, what's going on, where the flames are coming from. There was a really exciting, this is far away from all of us, but in California, they had issues with brush fires. And they've utilized the drones to get an aerial view of the brush fires and to steer the first responders to the exact area where those are happening. So a lot of different tools to help first responders, help them do their jobs.
Well, thank you
Of course.
very much, and we'll study over this. We can't make any decisions tonight, but we'll study over this, and we have the chief and lieutenant to talk about this.
Absolutely. And anything else you think of, if you're sitting at home tonight, you come up with something, let us know. I'll give you my cards.
Okay.
So you have those. We're an open book. Our website has a ton of reading materials too, so if you're bored, I'm sure you're not bored, but if you ever are.
There's probably a frequently asked questions section.
Absolutely. But I can also be the frequently asked
Got it.
questions section if you need it. So
There.
thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. We have a representative from Lauderdale County High School's golf program. Introduce yourself and tell us what's on your mind.
I'm here to represent the golf program at Lauderdale County High School. We're here to request support the form funding program. We take pride in representing the school and representing the town, obviously. Golf teaches a lot of skills like discipline and teamwork, and it's a non-revenue generating sport. So continue competing at a high level. We need help purchasing equipment, paying for course fees, travel expenses, and tournament fees for sectional and state competitions. We're requesting a donation that will help us to cover these necessary expenses and ensure that all of our athletes have the resources we need to succeed, regardless of financial background. Your support would not only help improve the team's performance, but also encourage student participation in a sport that fosters personal growth, mental toughness, school and community pride. We believe that with your help, our team can achieve even greater success while representing the town of Rogersville and Lauderdale County High School with pride. Thank you for considering our request. We look forward to the opportunity to work together to make this reality. On behalf of our teammates and coach and school administration, we thank you for your support.
Thank you. We can't make any decision tonight, but traditionally, I believe we typically have an allotment of $1,000 to give to each non-revenue sports program at the school. So we will take this up next week.
Yes, sir.
I would imagine we'll be in equal.
Yes, sir.
We'll be in touch.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Okay, do we have a representative from the Patriot Catfishing Incorporated? Hey,
Good evening, how y'all doing?
good. Introduce yourself and tell us what's on your mind.
My name is Roger Breedlove. I'm one of the members of Patriot Catfishing Incorporated. For those of y'all that don't know, we're a non-profit. We take veterans and disabled veterans out on catfishing trips here on Wilson Wheeler Lake on the Tennessee River. We've actually got an event coming up next weekend. We will have 30 volunteer boats coming to town. We'll have 30 veterans. We'll bring probably 200, 300 people to town. Be here all weekend, buying gas and hanging out, buying food. But we put 170 veterans on the water last year, free of charge to them. A lot of guys, we had some single amputees, double amps, but one guy only had a left arm. So we got a boat set up to handle everything for these guys, but we cover 100% of the expenses for the guys that come to town. And like I say, we got an event coming up next weekend at 3 o'clock. We'll be weighing in behind the Wheeler Dam at Safety Harbor. If y'all want to see some smiling veterans, come hang out for a few minutes there. Following that, about 6:30, 7 o'clock, we'll be at the Cotton Gin over here. We'll have an awesome meal. Y'all want to come hang out. Being a room full of warriors and heroes like that, it's pretty touching feeling. I mean, y'all come over there and hang out.
What day and time is that?
That is the 11th. Following the 3 o'clock weigh-in behind the dam, we'll be at probably 6:30. We're going to the Cotton Gin. We're expecting one 99-year-old veteran to come speak with the guys. We invited a couple of Congressional Medal of Honor guys, but they had stuff to do. But we got Mr. Otis Bratton from New Hope, Alabama. He's supposed to come and speak with the guys. 99 years old. You know, he's got some stories. But we do two major events like this, and then the rest of the year, you'll see our silver boats and white boats. Take the veterans out. I've got 5 guys out last week and 2 today. We steadily take the guys out, showing them a good time, but, like I said, we try to bring the veterans here and enjoy everything here. Like I say, any help y'all can give us, we sure appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I know we had a donation that the previous council did. And we won't be able to make a decision tonight, but we can discuss it between now and next week.
Yes.
Discuss it next week, it'll be on the agenda, I'm sure.
Where's your organization headquartered?
The headquarters is in Rogersville, Tennessee. My brother retired out of Fort Campbell there, but we have a house here in Rogersville, right beside the fire department. Thank them for mowing our lawn. So awesome. That way I don't have to keep a mower down here, I can fish more. Thank you very much. But yeah, we have a house here. Our physical address is in Pleasant View, Tennessee, but we operate all our trips out of Wilson and Wheeler here. So we're trying to get 200 people out this year. 170 last year, 150 the year before, 150 and 120. So we're trying for 200 this year.
Does anybody have any questions?
And we've been trying to get this lady out for how long? Any of y'all are veterans or know any veterans that would like it down in the water? A day on the water makes you forget about everything. You know, a lot of these guys have physical and mental problems. By the end of the day, a lot of times what I've noticed in a lot of our veterans, they'll have just a wrinkled up forehead or just a mean bulldog. And I had 2 guys last month, and I just started noticing this recently. I mean, there's just a certain look. If I halfway through the day, it's gone, you know, and they don't realize it. But I started noticing that on a lot more of the guys that are really deeply troubled, that they just got just a different look. And by the end of the day, it's gone. But that's what we try to do. We try to give the guys one good thought to draw. You know, there's times that you have to count tracers in the dark, but you don't have to do it by yourself, you know. So we just try to give the guys a good thought and help them out a little bit. And we enjoy doing it here in this town. Thank you all very much.
Thank you for what you do, and I'll try to see you on the
There'll be a good meeting over there. The weigh-in will be so awesome. When you see them veterans holding them fish, that smile from ear to ear. The guy that won it last year was a double amputee. He had the highest weight last year, but it's not about fishing. I mean, it's not about the fish. They're just a bonus, but the time we have, it's good time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, we have a representative from the Shoals Area Association of Realtors. Hey, how are you? I believe we actually have a proclamation.
Yes.
I will read it and present it to you, and if you want to stick around to the end of the meeting, we'll post our picture.
Okay.
I'll read it and present it. This is for Fair Housing Month, and I will now read the proclamation. Whereas the Fair Housing Act enacted on April 11th, 1968, enshrined into federal law the goal of eliminating racial segregation and ending housing discrimination in the United States. And whereas the Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, religion, sex, familial status, national origin, and disability, and commits recipients of federal funding to affirmatively further fair housing in their communities. And whereas the town of Rogersville is committed to the mission and intent of Congress to provide fair and equal housing opportunities for all. And whereas our social fabric, the economy, health, and environment are strengthened in diverse, inclusive communities. And whereas more than 50 years after the passage of the Fair Housing Act, discrimination persists and many communities remain segregated. And whereas acts of housing discrimination and barriers to equal housing opportunity are repugnant to a common sense of decency and fairness, now therefore be it resolved that the town council and mayor of the town of Rogersville do hereby declare the month of April 2026 as Fair Housing Month. The town of Rogersville is an inclusive community committed to fair housing and promoting appropriate activities by private and public entities to provide and advocate for equal housing opportunities for all residents and prospective residents of the town of Rogersville. And it's signed by all of us and has the town seal. I'll present this to you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. And I would just like to say that we are committed to making our community stronger by offering more opportunities and fair housing is the foundation of that. So thank you all, Mayor and Council.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Someone asked about, can we go ahead and take a picture? Our town attorney suggested we wait until the
Okay,
end.
sure.
So we'll just follow that. Okay, thank you. Representative from the fire department. Chief Phillips.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's been a while since I've been in front of y'all. I work in Huntsville. People drive back towards Huntsville know how traffic is, but anyway, I apologize for that. But I have a couple things we need to talk about tonight. One, back to the previous administration, they put the trailer that's on the north side of the building as surplus. I would like to go ahead, we just about got everything out of it on other trucks, but I would like to go ahead and put that up for sale bid, if that's possible. And as soon as we get everything, the rest of it out, I will let whoever, Kelly know or whatever, when it can be formally put up, but I would like to go ahead. I know this is just a work session, but when y'all meet next week, if y'all can go ahead and do that.
Which trailer?
It's the one at the end of the building. We use it a
Is that
couple.
the educational trailer?
No. It carried equipment mainly for like tornadoes and stuff when we went out of town. We purchased it right after when it went to Hackleburg and all that, because we were driving personal vehicles down, hauling a bunch of stuff, things like that. So, but we really, now we've kind of consolidated and moved everything to different trucks and stuff that we don't really, it's sitting more than it's been pulled down the highway. So, and then the next thing I'd like to talk about is the vehicle that I drive. It is almost 20 years old. It's 17 years old. You heard the old term, it's got one foot in the grave. Well, it's got all of them in the grave now. I was on probably almost 2 months ago now. Oil pump went out on it, and it's gone. It's locked up. And it's 2009 model. It's not worth fixing. With the prices of parts and stuff nowadays, you could buy a good used one or whatever. We would like new, but I know that's money's tight. And the reason I'm asking is if we could get some assistance from y'all. And again, new would be great, but I'm fine with something, a good used one. And I know, again, this is just a work session. Y'all would have to vote on that, but I guess I just need approval to go ahead and move forward with searching for a vehicle that would be, that would fit our needs. And I say it's the one that I drive, and the reason that I have one is, especially on house fires, like when the lumberyard burnt. I was the first one on scene. I get them the same size of what's going on, what we're gonna need, where we need to put vehicles and stuff like that. And not only that, other things, haul equipment, dirty hoses, instead of racking it back on the truck and have to take it back off when we get here to clean it, they just throw it in the back of that truck, and then we unload it off of it and clean our hose and put it back on the truck. But again, this is a work session. If y'all can possibly look at, voting on that next week or whenever you meet for the regular session. So, and I know I've talked about money and stuff like that, but we're a volunteer fire department. We don't get a lot of funding. And these things, it's NFPA comes up with these standards every year. And the big thing now is SCBA's, the ones that don't know what that is, self-contained breathing apparatus. They've come out with a new standard for those. I don't know exactly when that takes effect, but we have about 22, 24, somewhere around in there. That's probably more than likely gonna be out of date as far as standards go, unless some miracle happens and they say, well, we're gonna scratch this. But that will be definitely a big purchase when that time comes. So I just wanna put that in the back of your mind and let you know something about that. We do look for grants all the time. We've got one that we're looking at for some newer rope rescue stuff that we have, and I say rope rescue, it wouldn't be just for like rappelling down buildings or rappelling down cliffs. It would be to hook a rope system to a leader that you could put somebody in, instead of having their hands held up the bank or whatever, you could pull them up, you know, with the rope and stuff like that. So we're looking at some grants for that, but, you know, we look all the time, and we try to do the best we can with the money that we have and what money y'all graciously give us, but, yeah, we're a small department, we get up roughly, I think 72, maybe 62,000 a year, and as y'all know, you got fuel, you got, you know, insurance you gotta pay for, and all that other stuff, so. But again, I appreciate y'all's past and future giving, I guess you would say, if at all possible. But we appreciate everything y'all done. I would like to give an update. Last year alone, we had over 600 calls for service. And calls for service is not just fire. We go from everything, stomp my toe to house fires. A lot of departments, several years ago when they done new protocols, they did not do that. They kind of whittled away at what they would go on and what they wouldn't go on. And we said, we live so far out in the county, we're just going on everything. And we do, you know, we get, you can ask Morris, we get plenty calls of just lift assist. That is probably one of the major calls we get, and I say major. All calls to us are majors, we treat them just like, you know, anything else. But that's some of the calls, you know, one of the biggest calls that we get is just lift assist. And understand, especially with my wife in at home with a handicap, you know, a lot of times kids are gone, and all it is elderly parents. So they call 911, we go. But again, I appreciate y'all very much.
Speaking of that, how many members do you have now?
Roughly 25, somewhere around there. And again, well, I'll say again, you know, somebody might go to the fire department, they don't want to fight no fire.
Right.
Believe me, there is plenty to do besides fighting fire.
I understand.
You know, and we have a lot of, you know, quite a few women in the fire department. Again, they don't, most of them don't fight fire. They may spray a little water every once in a while, but for the most part, I need somebody with me on every call that we have, because 2 different channels, 2 different radios,
Right.
keeps me from having to go back and forth, and, you know, we appreciate it.
Okay.
To answer your earlier question, I don't think there's anything wrong with you searching out the time of the bid.
And I don't know, who does, do they still do state bids? Would that be as far as a vehicle goes?
Depends on which one you want. Like which,
Right.
Well, I'm not partial to a manufacturer. Well, I am, I like Chevrolets, but that's just. I know the last one that we got, the medic truck that we had to go all the way to Fort Payne to get it.
yeah,
Is that still the case? Or
it's for GMs or Fort Payne. Ford is Montgomery. Yeah.
Okay.
Worldwide web though. You can do all that.
Do what?
You can do all that from the desk. So.
Oh, yeah, I understand that. And then, you know, if, again, we would like you, not necessarily have to have you, what is the limit on used money-wise that I would have to come back and, where does it start, where I don't have to come back and say, I just mentioned it to you because we're under this, is it still 15,000, or was that a limit that was set by the council and mayor before?
I don't remember that. I know. How do you remember the last fire truck purchase? Do you remember that? I know that's a little different scenario.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly.
I mean, it was straight up a purchase, you know, we had to go get a loan for it, but, you know, it was, we come to y'all, we talked to you about it, y'all was good with it and everything, it was a done deal. Now, like, if you go by Randy, I know pretty much you gotta go by the state bid laws, you gotta go to whoever does it, you know, on that, but for some reason, I've always been told anything over $15,000 has to be,
That sounds, I don't know.
It sounds right, we'll look into that, but you're not, again, you're not talking about like an advanced life support truck like you have there, you're talking about
yeah, just a pickup,
a pickup truck.
four-door pickup, you know, it will have to be leather and lighted and all that stuff. But yeah, not nowhere near, you know, the money that we spent on that, and we appreciate that one very much. It gets used just about every day.
And the breathing apparatus units, they'll need to be replaced once the standards.
Yeah, when we find out what the actual deal is gonna be on those. But,
You'll keep us updated.
Yes, I will.
How many years, because I remember those coming up last time. I just didn't remember what year that was. You,
Well, the last ones we bought that are still standard now, we bought those used.
is that what it was?
We bought those from the city of Charlotte, North Carolina,
Okay.
used. They were 15 years old, we bought
So they probably will be out.
That's been at least 5 years ago.
them. It's been close to 10 years.
Yeah. I knew it had been a while, I do remember it though. So speculation, how much would that be, as far as you have a clue, as far as like random?
A happy medium is $10,000 a unit.
That is expensive.
Yeah. I mean, back when Mars started, they just went and bought a $5 water hose. and started charging over it. No, I don't.
Don't get up.
So we're
Yeah.
talking about 22 or 24 to replace. I can
And,
add
you know,
zero.
we would like to have, well, they would have to be new. We would like to have all of them at one time, but we broke it up over, a time period to get them replaced. But those, they have to be tested every year. Bottles have to be tested every 5 years, I think it is. And we're slowly seeing, it's really, if we had one that went down, 2 or 3 years ago, it wasn't worth fixing, because it was gonna take more to fix it than it would be to buy a new one at the time. So,
We just don't want those to go down with the firemen inside the house.
Right.
That's the issue.
when I started, I don't know about Mars, when I started, you could buy them for $2,500 a pop back in the day, but not no more, nothing's cheap anymore.
I don't know. No.
But again, I appreciate y'all, everything y'all do, what you do for us.
Thank you. Now, before you sit down, I have one more thing. In case everyone doesn't know, Chief Phillips was named Fire Chief of the Year fairly recently by the Lauderdale County Association of Volunteer Fire Departments. And we wanted to express our appreciation in light of that. And I've got a proclamation I'll read and I'll present to you. So, a proclamation honoring Frankie Phillips. Whereas Frankie Phillips has dedicated 38 years of outstanding service as a member of the Rogersville Volunteer Fire Department, demonstrating unwavering commitment to the safety and well-being of the Rogersville community. And whereas Frankie Phillips has served as a former emergency medical technician with the Rogersville Emergency Ambulance Unit, providing critical care and life-saving assistance to those in need. And whereas Frankie Phillips has been an active member of the Rogersville Rescue Squad, further exemplifying a lifelong dedication to public service and emergency response. And whereas Frankie Phillips has honorably served as Chief of the Rogersville Volunteer Fire Department for over 20 years, offering leadership, guidance, and tireless dedication to strengthening the department and protecting the community. And whereas Frankie Phillips is the recipient of the Lauderdale County Fire Chief of the Year 2025 award, recognizing his exceptional leadership, service, and commitment to excellence in fire protection. And whereas Frankie Phillips has played a vital role in helping Rogersville maintain its Class 5 fire insurance rating, contributing to improved safety standards and economic benefit for local residents. And whereas Frankie Phillips is a founding member of the Rogersville Firefighters Association and has contributed to community engagement through initiatives such as the Rogersville Monthly Fish Fry fundraiser. And whereas Frankie Phillips is a founding member of the Little Red Schoolhouse program at Lauderdale County High School and Elementary School, supporting education and youth development within the community. And whereas the citizens of Rogersville are deeply grateful for the decades of dedication, leadership, and selfless service provided by Frankie Phillips, now therefore be it proclaimed that we hereby recognize and honor Frankie Phillips for his exemplary service, lasting contributions, and unwavering commitment to the Rogersville community. Be it further proclaimed that this proclamation serves as a testament to his legacy of leadership, courage, and community spirit. and extend sincere appreciation for his many years of service. And we have all signed it. Thank you. I know it's not a competition. I know it's not a competition, but I think we have the best fire department in the state of Alabama, and that rests largely on the leadership of the department.
I appreciate
You and the assistant chief, so I'm gonna present this to you.
We feel the same way. You know, I'm just one person, and y'all heard it before, I'm here from somebody else, but I couldn't do it without these guys and gals here. Two people that I would really like to shout out to is Morris Lynch and Andrew. They help. But I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, senior center. Ms. Dodd, come on. Now, we're gonna introduce yourself.
I'm Dawn, and I'm the director at the senior center. And, what I was gonna ask about tonight, and I asked for money. My job entails a lot more than just my hours at work, and I was wanting to see about changing it from being hourly to salary. I have home visits I have to do every month. I have, mileage that, you know, I could claim and I don't. Someone has to be there to check the senior center in between parties and this, that, and other. And it would be easier this way than trying to keep up with hours and minutes and all the time in between, everything that has to be done. So that's just what it was. It's not asking for any more money. It should be the same, but it be like on a salary basis instead of on an hourly basis. It's like our food at work sometimes, it may get there at 5:30, it may not get there at 8:30 in the morning, so somebody has to be there early. So most times I'm there at 4:30 in the morning, just in case they do come. And, they would come and after we serve lunch, everybody eats lunch, 11:30, they're gone, so I'm there from 4:30 to 12 in the daytime. And I mean, I could be there, change my hours, but somebody's gotta be there to get the food. So it's just, I was just trying to make it easier on Elizabeth to do it, because my time card last week was just like with our fundraiser and the working on the fundraiser before the fundraiser, it was just numbered all up, so I was just trying to make it easier on that, and you know, than me having to keep up with every 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, that way.
The different schedule and have it broken up. This will
Yes.
This would just save you time.
It would save time, it would save trying to figure out a lot, what time did I get here, how long did I stay, you know, and coming back and forth, you know, it just make it easier.
You don't go in at the same time, or particularly don't leave at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just what it was about.
Okay. Any thoughts or questions?
We'll just have to look at it. I mean,
Yeah, we'll just, any
well, keep doing it.
it's pretty straightforward. We'll just,
Yeah,
we'll put it on the agenda.
I thought I could at least ask, you know, it'd make it easier for the paperwork situation.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of paperwork, I mean, I've got a lot of paperwork myself too, but I know Elizabeth's time card last week had all sorts of numbers on it, so,
Okay,
you know, it'd just be easier.
okay. We'll,
We can't do nothing.
Yeah, I know, I just thought I'd ask, and I know what you think about it.
okay, we
I
will,
wanted to thank the VFW too for volunteering and donating our vegetables for our stew fundraiser. Our stew fundraiser done very well, and, we even run out of food.
yes, because I arrived right after you ran.
Yes, yeah, she came and she got the last. We won't thank everybody that can participate too, because that was, my seniors now are looking forward to maybe plan it at our next fundraiser, plan us a little small trip or something, it's something special to do, so.
Well, thank you, thanks for what you do. Yeah, go.
Tell them about your next fundraiser coming up. Our next fundraiser coming up is going to be karaoke in the park. Mr. J loves to do karaoke, and he wants on that stage, so we're gonna put Mr. J on that stage. And we're gonna sell hamburger meals that day for $10, you get a burger, chips, drink, and a little Debbie cookies, something, you know. And it'll be $10 for that day, but we're gonna have music in the park from 10 to 2. And, I've got, Amos Simmons coming up, he's going to do a program too, a praise in the park. And, but we're looking forward to that. Everybody is excited about getting karaoke in the park and, because there's karaoke every weekend up here at the senior center. If I come and karaoke every weekend, I believe they come every weekend.
What day is it again?
It's May the 9th, I believe it is.
Okay.
It's on a Saturday, so we're doing karaoke on Saturday in May instead of, on Friday night. Because a lot of times Friday night, when I do karaoke on Friday night, I don't get home till 9:45, 10 o'clock at night. And see, that's extra hours too that I don't put on my pay either. So it would just, that's another part of it too. 'Cause we always got something going on.
Can't believe they honky tonk that long.
Hey, 9:45, one time I was sitting there, Mr. J said, can we say one more song? I said, sure, I'll be here as long as you want me to be here. And they'll karaoke.
They did Freebird, and you was there till midnight.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, storage units, I believe this is Councilman Joe. Okay, go ahead, storage.
At one point, I remember in the previous administration, I remember that, we had talked about, the concern that storage units were taking up valuable 72 frontage in town, such as the one out toward Elk River and whatnot. And at one point, we had discussed, doing an ordinance, I remember, about, making it to where no new ones could be built unless they were built onto whatever was existing. And I was just trying to remember if that ever got put on the books, or if that was just something that got discussed but never put down. And is that something we still want to consider so that we don't keep losing valuable 72 frontage to storage units as opposed to Chick-fil-A's and anything else that we might could get in the future? Something like that. I didn't know if we wanted to discuss that again or not.
It was before my time that I remember the discussion, but I don't think it ever got beyond the discussion phase. I don't have a recollection of you all, the previous council, actually taking any action.
I don't remember.
A moratorium
I
on
don't
storage.
remember that at all. Do you, Dan? I don't have any recollection of it at
I
all.
remember when we discussed a fee on the, storage units, but I don't remember
Do you remember, was it on last time?
us limiting how many, so.
So evidently it
I
wasn't.
don't know.
I don't think we delved into it very much, but it was brought up as something that could be done.
I don't think it would be, I think it's just discussed, that would be.
That's
Yeah.
I mean, yes,
I was just asking about the storage units. I mean, kind of hard to do anything outside of storage units on this Highway 72 since we have no water. I got some valuable land out here I'd like to do something with. If we could get that.
Exactly. No water.
well, that's a discussion for another day. Soon, but another day.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Anyway, any other comments about it?
Thought I remembered that. I just thought I'd ask.
I can't remember. I can't, you and I talked about that, right? I went back and looked at notes and everything else, and I didn't find anything, so I don't know. We might have, like George said, might have just discussed it.
I think it was just discussed, I don't think we're happy on it.
All right, build away.
Bill, what?
But it's certainly something that could be considered,
Oh, yeah.
if you're so inclined to pursue.
Anything.
Okay, culvert road repair at the corner of Spring and Townview.
That
Councilman
was-
Duke?
So, Eddie and I talked about this briefly, but I know the initial repair on that street, if anybody's been on that, knows that's pretty rough. It's right at the culvert, where Spring Street and Town Street come together. But we do need to get something done with that pretty soon. I mean, if we have to cold patch, whatever we have to do, it's pretty bad. I know there was sinkhole there, repair to do it, the price we got back, how long ago has that been?
It's been, the fall of 24,
4.
So it's been a couple of years ago.
Yep.
It was 20,000 to replace that and do what we probably need to do. I know we don't have that in our budget now to keep all the other streets paved, but we do need to make an effort to try to coal patch it or something if we can. What are those bags that we're getting now that we're using? Have you used any of those?
Yeah, we don't have any left, but it's a new mix where it doesn't get all over your tools or vehicles when they drive over it. I would need to order some more. The problem at that culvert exactly is it's washing out from under the road. And our bid that we had back then was to cut out that road, reform that bridge, if you will, underneath and redo the foundation and repave the road. We did fill one of the sinkholes, but the entire road from north to south, the width of the road is sinking. And I mean, we can Band-Aid it by getting some coal patch, like Mr. Jonathan said, but eventually it's going to have to be cut out and fixed.
Yeah, because we're going to stop the water from going through there and doing that, basically. But what's anybody else's thoughts on that? George, what do you think? I know there's some worse ones too, but they need to put on there.
I haven't driven through there lately. Is it as bad as ever?
Oh, it's pretty good. Yeah.
It needs to be patched.
Yeah.
It definitely needs to be patched.
We've got to get it smoothed out.
When was the last time any work was done?
Last year, they.
Yeah, we fixed a sinkhole last year, but the town was doing that Rebuild Alabama grant, and that was one of the sections that was involved in doing it, but we didn't get it, so.
Well, we've applied for that.
Yeah,
It's another problem there with the sewer line where they dug out, is bad.
Talking about
Department's got that,
on the other street.
no, on that street
Oh,
right
yeah.
there before we get to the bridge.
Yeah.
If we could work together with them and maybe put a patch on ours, and if they fix theirs, we'd be in pretty good shape.
yeah.
They rented a packer the other day and patched some. Now, we do have one on Holden Street, it's ours, where we put that tile in a couple years ago. We need to do something with it.
Where's that? Oh, between Comer and, okay, yeah. I'll check on
And the
that.
water department's got some on Polk Street, it's really bad.
Yeah.
You've been on it lately, it's really bad. You go over it the other day,
Yeah, it's real bad.
Yeah.
it's really bad.
I just got to note that we actually had, if I'm reading this correctly, $89,000 available from the previous rebuild element.
And that's what we used to pay, which that don't go very far.
This can only be used on street roads.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we need to kind of maybe discuss how we want to do that or whatever.
But I believe we ought to address that dip on that bridge, cause it is definitely getting worse.
I was gonna say, it's only gonna get
But I'm
worse.
just afraid it's going to actually fall through, because that's the final step of what we want to wash it out. I mean, it looks good till it don't. So, yeah.
Well, let's put this on the agenda on Monday.
Absolutely, yeah, I think we need to. Councilman, you.
Okay, where are we at? Part-time employee at the library. Kim. A bit of housekeeping, I did want to announce that earlier today I resigned from the board of the Rogersville Public Library, and by extension, I was also serving as chairman of the Florence Lauderdale Regional Library System Board. I just felt that it was the right time to do it. It's probably going to be inevitable, but particularly now that we're going to have more and more library stuff on the agenda, I just thought it was best to avoid even the appearance of conflict. So that took effect earlier today, and we'll need to appoint I don't know if I appoint a member that maybe I nominate the council approves, but that's for another time as well. So go ahead.
Well, I'll say
We're asking for another part-time employee in the library. We're asking to replace, Jade Watkins. She's leaving, she's in nursing school and just is at the point of school that she can't continue at the library. Our clinical hours are gonna be extreme in the next couple of months. So, that's the only reason why she's leaving. She's done a great job. We've enjoyed working with her. We'll miss her a lot. But we're just asking to maintain what we've got. We're not asking for anything extra. It would be nice if we could possibly, potentially raise the salary just a tiny bit. I know we lost JD several times to, she was working at the bank for a while, a bank attendant, and, you know, the bank paid more than we did, and so she would have to take a shift there instead. She's put herself through school. It was understandable. But it would be helpful if possible, but we also understand if it's not, because we know money's tight, so.
When is her, she's already turned in her resignation.
Yes,
When is her last day?
end of April.
You would like somebody in, end of April. When is the summer reading?
The summer reading program starts in June, but if we could get somebody in May, that would give us some time to train somebody.
You would really like somebody to be in place.
If at all possible, because library work is specialized enough, chaos can happen if somebody doesn't know read decimal order. So we need somebody to have time to learn the job, and learn the circulation system and learn how to check books in and out, and that kind of thing. So just any time we can have with them to get them ready. Summer reading, our usage and numbers kind of explode. We'll go from having 100 books checked out a day to over 200 books in a day. And so our numbers double during the summer. And so we just really need the help.
I think we could post that job up and get somebody in place.
That would be great.
Okay, copier and scanner, what's this?
One of our copiers, or one of our scanners is getting extremely old. It's got a big bar through the middle of the screen. We've cleaned it. I've done every YouTube tutorial to try to fix that thing myself. We are not asking for money to pay for the copier itself. We would cover that with our donations account. What I'm asking for is if we could possibly put it on the maintenance plan with printers and stationers. Their maintenance plan, they cover all of the networking. They cover any computer issues we have. They come out for free, or for the cost of the $40 a month. They take care of the ink and toner for the copier. So it's pretty cost effective. It works well.
It's an option B.
Our main copier printer is on that plan, and it's been one of the best things that's happened since I've started working here, in my opinion, because they're extremely professional. The service has been excellent, and it works well. And we have enough computers. The networking is a little tricky. It's not just plug in a computer or a printer.
So the other copier is not on that plan?
Well, we have 3. One of the copiers is owned by the Friends of the Library, and they use it for stuff. We occasionally will run copies off on that if we're using both printers at the time, and that does happen fairly often. But then the main printer that we use to do the bulk of the printing off the computers is on that plan. This would be adding a second printer to that plan.
So that would give you 4?
It would just be 3 printers. We're just maintaining. We'd get rid of one of our printers that's not working well.
So we can't put all 3 of them on the plan?
The other printer is not through printers and stationers,
Okay, I got you.
so,
Is it the people that you were talking to the other day while I was in there?
yes.
Y'all, they called her 3 times within 30 minutes to make sure that they understood what she needed, that they had her quote back in a heartbeat. I mean, these people were Johnny on the spot. Yes, it was unreal. I mean, she answered the phone 3 times while I was standing there 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's why we're trying to do this option B here.
Yeah.
What's right here.
I'll tell you, it's a no-brainer as far as the customer service.
They're fantastic.
They beat all I'd ever seen.
Well, like I said, we would take the money for the actual machine from the donations account. So we're just asking for the plan to $40 a month plan. We're not asking for the actual money for the copier.
I think that could be accommodated, speaking for myself.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, this is library related, Councilman Jones, I think. This is yours. Item L.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, yeah, we're ready.
yeah.
I was looking for the printout. No, I was looking for the printout, so, is it?
Yes, but this is what is.
Here, I got that. Yeah. All right, what we're talking about is the fund or the reserve account that we all talked about being the new library fund or lack thereof. And, what we have is a printout somewhere in here showing that the town actually paid into that account $5,000 a month for over a year. So that's leaving us with, counting the renovations and everything so far, that leaves us with about 60,000, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So since we've,
That's after, there's 2 items that are still pending that have not been taken out of that
Right.
60.
so based on what we've approved so far, you've already spent somewhere in the neighborhood of 40,000, correct?
From the new library building,
Yes.
um,
From that fund, for the renovations on the old one.
it's been about approximately 20,000.
Okay, so doing that and knowing what the town put in, my suggestion is that, we actually split this fund. There's approximately $60,000 in there that the town put in,
50.
50,000.
Yes, there's
excuse me.
10 that's still pending,
Excuse
so
me.
it's not reflecting, so there's
I
approximately
get my
50.
approvals and all that back, so roughly $50,000. So my suggestion is that we give and move it to an account in the library, $25,000, and we move the other 25 back to the street department, because Eddie gave up 60,000 this, at the start of the fiscal year for the police department. And that would allow him to do some things with that money that the town has paid into that account. So if you would, just think about it, and then we'll cross that bridge Monday, or unless you want to talk about it.
How much is in there now, 50 or 60?
50.
In the account now,
50.
it's 49,310.
49.
That is after we pay for the
After
landscaping and
That's
painting.
right.
The nursery and the painters.
Right.
Can
And
somebody,
somebody should pay on that.
donations that were dropped off at the library that were specifically to go to the new library building fund, what was the total amount of those donations? Does anybody know?
I don't have a total.
I don't know,
I've
but,
gone back and looked. I knew.
She's got it right there. So,
There was a total of $82,830.03 that was put into the new library donation account. 63,000 of that was done from the town
Okay,
itself.
okay.
There should be a spreadsheet
yes.
So
with
about
Earl
20,000
report.
was from library
Yes.
donations.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm saying, based on that, and what we've already approved for the renovations, you've spent virtually your donation part, and we could take that and split that account and give back some money to the street department, and you'd still have 25,000 allocated.
That money was put in there for the new library. I personally think what we took out was about 70,000 of that. Now, I see where we worked it down to 50,000. I think we ought to leave it in there. That's what it was intended for when we put it aside, the library.
Okay, that's fine.
That's my point.
Well, I thought about this. I know councils are not bound by what previous councils did. And I know even since that has no longer been the case, and even through the beginning of this council term, it's been repeatedly said that that is the library's account, and it's can now be a maintenance account. So, but again, I know it's the prerogative of the council to change things, so.
And I'm just going based on my memory during the council meeting when we said we were no longer gonna build a new library.
Well, we got the prices back. And it was,
That's when the money
it was
stopped.
way,
Was it $5,000 a month all along?
And it was, we were putting $5,000 a month
Yeah.
into that account because we had purchased land up there behind Food Land. We paid that land off, and we took that $5,000 that we was paying for that, put it into that account. And then what we said in one of the minutes, which is not on any minutes anywhere, trust me, I went back to 2020, and I can't find any minutes on it, was that we're not gonna have a library, or it's gonna be just considered as a reserve account. And that's what I'm going on. If you wanna leave it as the library, I'm fine, but let's move it into her account.
And dissolve the new building.
That's what I'm saying. We can't have this just sitting out there because Elizabeth is trying to figure out what are we talking about when it's not even showing up in any account under anybody.
yeah, because we've got all the administration on this
We're
stuff.
not gonna build a new library, let's make this one we got the best we can.
Then I'm all for it. Put it in, all in, and we'll make a motion next week.
That's fine with me.
I'm good with it.
We'll put it on the agenda next week.
I'm good with it either way, so.
Because we do have some issues that need to be taken care of.
But we can talk about this furniture while she's up here.
Okay.
You know about this furniture. You still want to purchase this furniture for $33,000, or you kind of, want to?
I would like to, but now I would like to wait on the grant that we applied for.
Grant. That's kind of a little bit.
And we should know until around May 1st. So I'll definitely, I'm willing to table furniture until then, just because we're hoping we hear back from that grant, and hopefully we'll get some funding there.
All right, so we just put the furniture on the back burner.
I would until then, just because if we get the money there, through that funding,
Yeah.
it'll be taken care of.
But once we move that into her budget line item, then she'll know it's there, so, yeah. I won't want you to spend all of that $50,000 on just
Oh,
furniture.
no,
You know,
That's what we was
Yeah.
thinking about.
but you,
No, because we have to upgrade things that are gonna actually.
right.
Well, we're gonna need carpet in that building, the bathrooms need some new ventilation, there's some issues like that, so we wanna be careful with funding.
Understand. I'm good.
Thank you. You're doing a great job too, and so is JD and.
Yeah, thank y'all. And look,
Thanks, brother.
please, y'all understand how much we appreciate the effort y'all put in, putting in that grant.
Absolutely.
I mean, you had 4 days. Once we got the paperwork, what you had to do, and trust me, I know how much work has to go into writing a grant, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate what you're
We
doing.
just knocked it out. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, before we get to departmental updates, I'm gonna call for a 5-minute recess. I'll post with a picture, and I'll gavel us back in at about 5 to 7. The camera's gonna still be rolling, so be careful what you say. Can we do that? I'm afraid we won't be able to get it back on. We don't have 2 different streams, so let's just leave. We don't want to split the stream.
I was just looking at it.
Yeah, thank you. We don't want this.
There you go.
Can you see that dirty spot in front of the door?
Yeah, yes, it's right here.
See you next
Okay. I hope so.
Oh,
Girls. There, I got it. I'll see you before you leave. Make sure I have something to eat. About 2 hours before. Yeah, please. All right. We have to do the agenda.
Time's 8:22.
okay, are we ready? Gavel us back in here. Okay, departmental updates, Eddie.
Good evening. So before I get into, to the seasonal help and the equipment there, if it's okay, I'd like to go back and discuss a little bit about the park, ball field.
Go ahead.
Seems to me, and I haven't read any of that Facebook stuff, but from people who have come to me and spoke to me, it seems to be a misunderstanding that we have a park and rec department, and that's all that those guys do. Fair enough, there's things, the leaves that were piled up against the fence, that's a legitimate complaint, but the difference is they seem to start earlier and earlier every year. And we generally don't blow those leaves and chop them up until it's time to start mowing the fields. The fields are still brown if you go up there, they're not green yet, so we haven't mowed any of the playing fields. Furthermore, there's some misunderstanding that the town is responsible for dragging the fields, lining the fields, getting these things ready for games, and that's not the case. As Jamie stated, and I hate that they had to go, but as Jamie said, the fields are 30 years old. I could take you back to the 90s when I was coaching. I spent many days up there working on the fields, brought my own equipment. There's nothing new and spectacular that's happened this year that's not been happening for 30 years. The leagues have always taken care of the field, the playing surface. The town always mows the grass.
Well, that's not to interrupt, but they like that arrangement.
Right, yeah, and have for years. But I was personally asked why we don't do mowing. Why are we not making sure the fields are playable? Why are we not out there picking up rocks? And of course, my answer was, well, there used to not be rocks till, the problem is, and I'll just speak frankly here, the problem is, and it's always been that way, it's not new this year, but the leagues will let anybody willing to go work on the field, whether they know what they're doing or not. And there's been a time or two that little softball field actually had a tiller on it and brought the rocks to the surface. We don't have time to go through and pick up rocks. I mean, I just don't. So the leagues themselves have always taken responsibility of the playing surface. Now, yes, the fence is 30 years old. They talked about the top rails being broken places, and that's true. We haven't done a mass upgrade of all the fence posts, but there's top rails and there's brackets that get replaced every year. I haven't done them yet this year, but it's nothing new. That gate at the big baseball field, that top rails brackets have been replaced twice. I've been here 4 years and I've done them personally twice. They keep getting broke. The thing that we can't control is how people don't take care of the facilities. We put up new gates last year, and those are already sagging and the hinges broke on them. Because nobody polices kids being kids and swinging on them. You know, and it's just, it would be different if we had a Parks and Recs department, that's all we did, was work on that park, but we're a small department, y'all know, and we've got way more responsibilities than just the park. The little softball field, the center field gap is from, hopefully now that we've poured that curve around, that's just from years of erosion, from the water coming off of the concession stand and that asphalt, taking that infield out to center field and has washed that away. Hopefully now that curve around the backstop will fix that problem. But eventually it'll have to have a new fence, you know, and landscaping, dirt work brought in there. But the nets, I'm not sure how old the nets are. I know when I was first up there and then when I was last up there, the actual fence around the backstop was different. We didn't have the nets when I coached. Those nets are on the cables that's on a winch. We let them down, we raise them up. That's it. The nets are just wore out.
It's been a while.
Since we put them up.
But I think also they got caught with a couple ice storms. I mean, yeah, it's gonna happen.
I mean, they're out
Freezer
there.
money.
They're out there in the elements. One of the complaints that somebody came to me with was foul balls. And I mean, when you come to a baseball game, you have to understand that there's gonna be foul balls. Those nets were put there. I do remember when they went up. I don't remember what year it was. But the reason for them was balls kept going over the backstop because the top of the backstop that stuck out was taken down. Balls kept going over the backstop, hitting the roof of the concession stand, causing, it was shingle roofs in, causing damage, rolling off, hitting little kids, whatever. The nets were first intended to protect balls from going straight back to the concession stand, hitting windows, hitting people with their back to the field. Seems to me that people today think that those nets are supposed to protect the people in the bleachers, the people in the lawn chairs, and that's just not the case. Yeah, we need new nets. I think we need a new net system, you know, but.
They were never long enough to protect the bleacher.
No, never were.
Eddie, is this something we need to put on a yearly rotation, bi-yearly, every 5 years, something we know we're gonna need new nets, so we need to allot money for new nets?
So, my suggestion, and it's just my opinion for what that's worth, is when we decide, or you guys decide we're gonna fix the backstop, take the fence that's there down and just do like the high school fields and just be net from the ground 30 foot up all the way around. Then you don't have to buy nets and you don't have to replace the chain link, get beat up. But that's just my opinion. Other than that, you know, there's systems out there where you can put the entire area up under a net.
Right.
But as far as to answer your question, yeah, I don't know what the life expectancy is of that material.
That'd be more than a year, I'm
Oh,
sure,
yeah.
maybe a
Yeah.
10-year plan.
These are at least 10 years old.
Yeah, they're at least 10 years old.
Yeah. But that's all I got about fields, unless y'all got some more questions about it. And one other thing, before we get into the, line item there, our truck, the 3500 diesel, it's cleaned, it's ready to be parked up front tomorrow. My question to y'all is, how do you want me to surplus that? Do we wanna do, just say for sale and make a post? Because the potential buyer that we had fell through, due to some medical problems, but do we wanna just post it for sale? Do do we wanna take bids? You can just let me know that, how we wanna go forward with getting that certified.
It's already been certified.
It has.
Have you ever sat a piece of heavy equipment or vehicle out in the parking lot for sale sign and just to see?
So not since I've been here, but previously it happened, the last one, the street department sold a tractor that way. As a matter of fact, I remember that story, but,
Maybe a better way to go about it than to take bids, but you can always refuse the bids, you know.
my plan is to park it out here with a for sale sign, so anybody can come in and inquire. But if y'all want us to make an official post, marketplace listing, whatever.
I think you should put a for sale sign out there and see what happens.
What is the book value on that? Do you
So
know?
we're going, it looks like we should ask about 32.
32.
I would ask you to write it up, all of the particulars about the vehicle, so that Kelly can make copies of it. Somebody come by and inquire about it, she can have them a copy.
Ready up.
So it has all the service boxes and all that stuff on it.
Boom don't
Yeah,
work.
right.
It works, but the cable's broke.
Cables work, that's right.
But it operates.
Okay.
All right, so, seasonal help. I want to talk to you about our summer help program, that we usually do, and maybe the possibility of getting an early start on that and not necessarily narrowing this down to when school's out and school-aged children. Maybe find a retiree or something that's able to help us a few hours. And the reason I would like to put a kind of a rush on this is I've lost a guy, Mr. Jimmy Bales broke a rib yesterday, and so he's off the mower for at least 6 weeks, maybe more. So that's really gonna put us in a bind in the coming weeks.
You do it on the job.
No, he was at home. So he's out this week, and then the doctor said, for a minimum of 6 weeks, he's not gonna be able to lift or get on a mower. So my hope is maybe next week, maybe y'all can discuss, moving forward with a posting or something to maybe get an early start on that a little bit if possible. Equipment, in our budget, we have $1,000 for 2 push mowers. And so I wanna ask you next week to okay me to get us some new push mowers. The 2 we have, one is no longer operational, and the other is, they don't make them this way anymore. They're about as heavy as this podium, and it's really impossible for some of the guys to pick it up and put it in their truck. So, that's budgeted, and so I asked that maybe next week we'll look at that. That's all I got.
Thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
Chief out there?
He is.
Hey, Chief, what's your,
I don't have anything.
you don't have any?
No, sir.
Really?
Yeah, something didn't develop that I was gonna tell you about, so I'm gonna tell you next time.
Okay. Good enough, thank you. All right. Baseball netting. Speaking of baseball netting, I requested this to be on the agenda. From talking to people at the park, there seems to be I don't know if you call it consensus, but I've heard from multiple people that there's one area in particular that is vulnerable to fly balls hurtling towards heads. And that is the home seating section. It's a big baseball field, and the bleachers in front of the first baseline. The way that the fencing and the dugout is situated, it's perfectly situated to hang a section of netting that would protect that seating area. And I went out there and measured a 25 feet by 7 feet section of black nylon netting would protect that bleacher area, which again I'm told has been the most vulnerable. you can buy 25x7, 36 gauge baseball netting for like $105. I actually got 3 price quotes, $105. Where am I? $98. What was the third one? $119. I think it would make some people happy. Last year we did. I know anything can happen. I got hit in the head at the Florence Sportsplex 2 years ago during a softball tournament. So of course you cannot protect everyone all the time. There's a certain risk we take. But I think it would be a good faith effort to string up some netting, especially this cheap in front of that particular section of bleacher. I know I had the prerogative. I had the prerogative to make this purchase or not. We're talking $98. But I thought it would actually be more. But I might have miscalculated.
I'd say buy.
But does anybody have a problem with me just purchasing this?
I'm just trying to figure out what we attach it to.
Well, it needs
Well,
7 foot.
so in front of that bleacher section, there's a small, the fence goes so high, then immediately to the left of it, it goes another, maybe 3 feet. You could string it, it almost is a perfect rectangle. There's a pole on the other side, on the side of the dugout. You could attach it with some sort of attachment to that pole. You can attach it on the other direction to the fence. It would almost fit perfectly.
So,
I say buy.
yeah, I say buy.
It's about the only spot that you could fit such a thing and connect it so perfectly.
Well, we
Have
need
that cable with it.
Yeah.
That's right. It would go as high as that cable. There's a pole on the right. There's fencing on the left. It would be easy to attach.
But we gotta
Where the poles at?
taking it down, right? We're gonna have to take this down when it gets cold and gets, or do we just let it
Why
get messed
couldn't we
up
just
and
leave
place
it?
it next year?
So, were we talking about the big baseball field?
Yeah.
The big baseball field, the home side bleachers.
First base side?
Right.
You had to take it down in the winter time, because we get.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Pull the poles down,
Yes.
we got it attached to it well.
Where's our
You'd have
attached
2
to?
tornado seasons that'd be trying to survive through.
What's there
Shred.
attached to on that side?
There's the fence on the left side and the pole on the right side. So you have to have a large, like industrial size zip
The
tie.
pole that, that the winch is on, is right.
Right.
Yeah.
We're talking about beyond that pole.
But it's 7 foot wide enough.
It's 25 feet wide and 7 feet high.
7 feet.
How tall is that fence?
Well, that going from the top of the fence,
How tall is the fence?
I believe.
Does that help any at all? Not really, probably.
No, no problem.
10
The
feet.
fence on the baseline
Good
is
street
10
view
foot?
of that.
I mean, a pop fly is gonna go higher than 17
Yes.
feet.
Well, I don't know that I can.
It would say line drive pop flies that go through, but any sort of major pop flies is gonna go over
I
17
mean,
feet.
you're still gonna have some that are gonna go over.
You don't have a lot that's
Let me
gonna
just
go
say this, I don't want us just to throw something up there,
Right.
because, trust me, we've been getting killed. So,
Well, how about consult with the baseball and softball leagues between now and next week?
I think we're gonna have to go wider than the 7 feet.
But you're not talking about a lot more money, I'm sure, because
I really wanted to speak with Mr. Hamill about this and we had to leave, but.
why don't you talk to them this week?
Okay.
And then if we need to increase that size, get his
Okay.
opinion, maybe you meet him up there one day. And if it's under
We'll confer
$500,
between now and next week and get
Yeah.
their thoughts, and I'll report back.
Yeah.
And you can report back as well.
is that good?
That's good with me.
Good.
Okay, last but not least, sales tax. Councilman Jones, I believe this is your item.
Well, part of it, just so everybody understands what we're talking about, is our revenue from 2020. Our total revenue was $3,304,000. And just last year, our revenue dropped to $2,938,000. This year alone, it's $1,589,000. So the revenue is not there to help us do a lot of these things that we're talking about. So kicking around the idea that everybody loves is alcohol tax and tobacco tax. and mainly vapes. Because right now, we found out we weren't even taxing vape sales in this town. So, if you look at the difference, if we increased our liquor tax, for instance, from 25, 26, our alcohol tax right now is roughly 71,000. If we increased it to 80 or 8%, it jumped to 80,000 in the same time frame.
What was the for current?
71,000.
So,
If you go to 8.5, it increases it to 9, just 9,500 now. So, it is a big difference, especially when you add in tobacco being at 6%. If we increase it to 7%, it increases just the total this year from $813 to $1,600.
so,
And then vapes, like I said, are not even taxed. Correct, Stephen, you worked on that? Right?
Vapes,
Vapes.
as far as you know, vapes are not.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't.
Beyond.
Beyond what we normally do, yeah.
Yeah.
Being,
We looked it up,
Right,
there's a,
we agreed to do whatever the state did.
okay,
If I remember call.
yeah, I know
Correct,
that
okay.
the, Elizabeth helped us, we looked at it too.
Elizabeth, you wanna kind of explain that, or?
The menthol,
Yeah.
So anything that is a natural tobacco cigarette type vape, so menthols, tobacco flavored, those are all able to be sold in gas stations.
right,
If it is like a fruity flavored
yes,
vape, even if it's menthol, like if it's, and I want to say it's still the fruity menthol flavors can still be sold in gas stations. But if you get one that's say like a custard flavor, or a strawberry cheesecake, those can't be sold in gas stations because they say they appeal to minors. So the vape stores themselves are the ones that typically house, well, they're tobacco vape stores is what they're called. Those typically house.
but the tobacco is all the menthol flavored and stuff, those can be taxed. It's the fruit ones that cannot.
Now,
Is
the
that
tax wise,
tax-wise, they
because
all can be taxed, right?
all of them have nicotine in them.
Okay, so, bottom
But
line
I don't
is-
know how they would classify those as tobacco products, because
Right.
they're, but I didn't look at the
You didn't
tax
see
part of
that,
it. Mm-mm, I didn't read that part of
Bottom
it.
line is we're missing that as far as our sales tax. And we could sales tax that out. And then we could increase our tobacco tax and we could increase our alcohol tax. So,
Yes, we could.
yes.
so if you'll remember, when alcohol tax came about,
Yes.
you know, I remember there were several wanting to go 15%. I said, let's go meet in the middle. That's why it's still 7.5.
That's right.
I don't even know how competitive that is with other areas. I'm assuming it's still very competitive. I don't know.
Roughly some of the other areas are at 9%.
Oh, yes,
And,
I love it.
So
a lot of them are even at 10 and 11.
that was just something that was pulled out that I had no idea.
That's right.
No idea.
You know, we talked about when we first went with it, of doing like Jonathan said, we was really gonna try to do something with alcohol at that time. And we kicked around the idea of 12, 12.5, 15, and we kind of settled there for a little while at 10, and then we knocked it down. So we could easily go up on alcohol by 1%.
I mean, I would say that's been
the same way with,
how many years?
it's been that way ever since we went.
But I mean, how many years has that been? 10 years now? 8 years?
Very good.
I don't remember. But
Approximately.
yeah, that's what I'd say.
So,
Yeah, I mean,
it's,
I can see that. I don't.
if you really about sales tax.
Yeah, we'll only talk.
And that's what I'm saying, we don't need to talk about that.
You're saying for now, you want us to look at alcohol, tobacco, and instituting a tax on that,
Yes,
nicotine and use.
yes, I'm not looking at sales tax. This is liquor, that includes beer, wine, and liquor. This includes tobacco, that would include all tobacco products, including all vape products. So,
By the way, beer, liquor, and wine, they have different tax rates. I mean, beer,
no, no.
Alcohol
Oh,
is alcohol, regardless of the type.
okay.
So we could go from our 7.5 to as much as 9%, 8.5%, 9%, like everybody else around us. We could take our tobacco and vapes, we could do, instead of that, at the same time, at 7.5%. What do you find, Stephen?
Beginning October the 1st, 2026, Alabama will impose a new state excise tax of 10 cents per milliliter on all consumable vapor products, within potential for total taxes to reach 20 cents per milliliter in municipalities that adopt their own matching local ordinance. This tax applies to e-liquids with revenue split between state, county, and local governments.
So we could go as high as 10% on vape.
We need to find out that there's a deadline for municipalities to pass such a resolution.
I'll find out.
Yeah, we can do that.
Thank you.
But this is just an idea to help with our regaining our revenue. And I don't know the reason, other than 2020 with COVID. Nobody was buying anywhere else. They were putting their mask on and shopping here. So we had an increase in the revenue. So,
There was grants,
it was what?
grants,
Yes,
that was the increase in
Yes.
it. There was almost 300,000 in grants.
300,000 in grants. So, that's what I'd like to put on the table for us to discuss at the next meeting.
And let the record show we have the lowest sales tax in the area
Oh,
at
yeah.
7.5%. And anytime you go shop in Florence and Athens, you're paying 2.5% more
Right,
than you do here in Rogersville.
right. And that's just on the.
That should be a pretty big incentive to shop local.
But if you wanna talk about the sales tax, we're the lowest in the county. In the state,
In the state.
in the state. So, and that includes everybody around us, but I'm not talking about sales tax. I'm talking about what everybody used to refer to as a sin tax.
But, repeat that, what-
So, I'm not in between sales tax.
are we tied for the lowest in the state, or are we the absolute lowest?
I mean, there's a couple of others that have, like Killen's 2.5%, but there's not any lower than 2.5%.
And everybody else in Lauderdale County?
Is
higher.
3% or higher.
Well, it's almost time to increase anyway, it's been like it for how many years?
But I couldn't tell you, I
Just
like
got
to
back
know.
before, so I paid a whole bunch,
Oh,
so.
yeah.
I know we haven't increased our sales tax in 25 years. And, but I'm not advocating that, don't tie that to me.
Just put it on the,
Yeah, that's right.
You would like, alcohol, tobacco, and vape products on the agenda.
Vape on the agenda, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm like Stephen, I think we need to tag along on what the state's gonna impose on vape and even tobacco. So,
Well, let's take it up to next week.
that's right.
Okay, Mayor, council comments. Before we don't have public comments on the agenda, but I understand at least one person would like to speak, so Ms. Joy, I'm going to allow public comments and invite you up.
It'll be really quick, Joy Rose, regarding the park and the baseball and softball fields. I have reached out to a friend of mine who does grants, and we are actively working on getting a grant to try and take care of what's going on at the park. We are writing this grant to cover, replacing the fences around the fields, reseeding the fields, replacing the backstop netting, and new lights. I don't know what will come of it, but they've already messaged me back and said, we're looking. When I have an update, I'll let you know.
Well, thank you.
I am not okay. I am not okay with us not being able to do stuff for the kids in this community. We want them to stay, we want them to come back, we want these families to believe in Rogersville. We gotta figure it out. And as long as there's breath in me and I have an idea, you know, social workers, that's what we do, we problem solve. And I will continue to do that because I do love this town. That's all.
Thank you for being here. Anybody else?
I got some on, you got, public?
Yeah, let's,
Okay.
go ahead, come up with about a minute. Give us your name and tell us what's up.
Yes, hi. I'm Amanda Prather. I'm the owner of Lindsay's Coffee Shop here in town. Some of you already know me.
Oh, yes. How are you doing?
I'm good.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we haven't seen each other.
A couple of things. I'm newer to the area. I've been in the valley on and off 5 years. I've actually been living here now going on 3 years. I lived in Rogersville for 2 years in my RV out at Plato's Branch for a while. I bought the coffee shop. My husband has since retired. He's a lot older. He's a racehorse trainer. Sold his home. We bought a place across the river. So I don't live in Rogersville anymore, but I have a business here. I do come from a small farming community, used to be a small agricultural farming community, very much like Rogersville. 2-lane highway through, very conservative, church on every corner. My dad was the superintendent of the water department before he retired. I worked for City of San Bernardino Water Department myself. I also work nonprofit, 501c3 writing program for the handicapped. I've also worked in a public entity, as like I said, in the water department. I've also worked in small business most of my life. And I've worked just about every corporate. I've also been corporate, worked in the medical industry, in immunology. The valley I grew up in, we had a council very much, used to be like this. Same people kind of were on it. I'm noticing there's some new people from what I've heard and what I've seen. The 2 issues I wanted to bring up was one, some of the things I've seen as an outsider coming into Rogersville that I saw in my city, and some of them were detrimental to why our city is not the way it was. It is now, it went from being one of the richest streets in the nation, because not only were we an agricultural community, but we were also a snowbird community. So our population would double in the wintertime with all the people coming down from all the colder climates. That retirement money is now gone because over the years, when the economy would boom and people couldn't afford to live in Orange County and LA anymore, they came to our area, bought up housing, big booms, and then when the economy tanked, they all bailed. And they just walked away from the houses because they were interest only. And when they did that, then the investors came in and bought it up, and the city tried to bring in more funds, went to Section 8, and we went from, like I said, like the 7th richest street in the nation to a median income of $22,000 for Southern California, which is well below poverty level. So I see some things happening in Rogersville that I saw growing up. Water is an issue. It's an issue in California. You guys have a lot of water here. Town of Rogersville just doesn't have access to a lot of that water because of the lack of infrastructure, the lack of retaining ponds. There's a lot of issues you guys have to deal with that you guys don't even have control over because you don't own your water agency. I work for City of San Bernardino Water. We were a separate charter from the city, but we were still associated with the city. The city of Hemet, they owned our water department. So a little bit different issues, but a lot of the same issues that we dealt with. I'm also coming to you as a small business owner, because coming in from that type of environment and coming to this one, I've noticed there's not a lot of support for small business in the area. And it's not, I don't think because people don't care. People do care out here. It's one thing I love about Rogersville. We just don't have the resources or the infrastructure to support the small business in this community. Some things that our community did in Hemet that aren't good, that I have seen that Rogersville is tending to trend to. The library. I understand that is a huge undertaking to bring in a library. Our city put that off for many years. They also did not promote Civic Center, anything to do anything with our young people. We had a huge drug problem, still do. We had highest teen pregnancy rate per ratio for our area. We were a dumping ground because there was no major industry that brought in any big income into our valley, so people had to commute. Our rivers, our oceans, our beaches were all 45 minutes away. They are now 2.5, 3, 4 hours each direction because of traffic, because of drugs, because of, the growth. We have no water. So what happened with Hemet is our city council and a lot of our people that grew up in the valley did not want to accept change. And they typically put their head in the sand. And because of that, it got too big too quick, and they lost control over a lot of that. And that's why they're in the situation they're in now. And they will not be able to recover because there is nothing to bring in anything better in that valley. When the investors came in and bought all the property, turned to Section 8, and they brought in the renters, they brought in a lot of the low income from the surrounding areas, but there was no education. There was nothing progressive in that valley. So unfortunately, that valley is not going to recover, which it could have. I see this, there's a lot of potential in Rogersville. There's a lot of good people in Rogersville, and there's still a lot of things that can be done to keep Rogersville from turning out that way. Part of it is taking a more proactive approach to growth in the valley. I know we're limited because of the water issue, and some of that is gonna have to be fixed, regardless if Rogersville Water does it, or if they're taken over by a bigger entity, which happened a lot in California. And without that, that's gonna really handicap the growth of this city and what we can do, or what you can do. So, just a couple things in our community I thought that was good as far as business development. Sorry about that. We did have problems with our city council, and I know there was a city council here at one point, and there is not anymore, for whatever reasons. I've heard different stories. I wasn't here. We had problems.
You mean the Chamber of Commerce?
I'm sorry, Chamber of Commerce. I'm sorry.
We are
Correct.
the council.
I know that. I'm sorry. Chamber of Commerce. We
We may not look like we're here.
Sorry, I just used the wrong words. Chamber of Commerce. We were able to bring our Chamber of Commerce back, and we did things such as city mixers, chamber mixers with our businesses. So I don't know if the Chamber of Commerce would be something that we can bring back. Where there isn't much representation for small business in this town, there's no marquee that works, there's no signage that works in this town. People come to this town, don't know what's going on. Even on Facebook, I'm on Facebook 3, 4, 5 times a day for my business. I still don't know what's going on in this town most of the time because of the algorithms and all the other stuff that happens. I tried to pull up Town of Rogersville today on my phone, it said error code. I went to my business phone, error code. Now when I brought it up again today, it's up, but there's nothing posted. There's no events on the calendar, there's nothing going on. There's no business page. A lot of the city chambers or city websites have local business pages and links to those businesses. One thing our town also did is we sunk a couple big posts on each side of the highway coming in and out of town on both sides of the main highway. And whenever we had a big event like Christmas in the Park, our Tinsel Triathlon, like out here you guys have the fish fry once a month, your Christmas events, the open house event, the first weekend of November, they would run a banner across. And anybody who came through the valley knew exactly what was going on in our town. And just something as simple as that, I know it costs money, but it's not a huge investment to put in a couple of poles and string a couple of cables and run banners across. And anybody coming from Florence and out to Huntsville is gonna know what we're doing in our city.
The only problem is we can't run a cable over 72. That's a state highway.
We have a state highway, we were able to do it. You wanna do it in Alabama? Yeah, because ours was a state
And we
highway.
could do a marquee
Okay.
to do that.
Yeah, because I've paid for advertising with East Lauderdale News
Yes.
several times. I've also done the electronic sign. You know, I put out banners, flags, whatever I can. My landlord is pretty good about that, and I try to be good about working with the city laws and ordinances. But I didn't know if there was just some way that we could think about or brainstorm some ways to help promote all the businesses in Rogersville. So I know there's a group that does Lee Street, and they kind of help support each other. I think that's great. I try to jump in when I can with fundraisers and doing trunk or treat, and there's a lot of things that I try to also do, but there really isn't anything set for small business, to help local small business.
Thank you. There's nothing to say we can't bring the Chamber of Commerce back.
That's right.
Oh,
We're
You
in the
know.
process of that.
So, thank you.
okay.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
And if there's any questions about the water or what our city did to, you're welcome to, I'm open to talk about it.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else want to make a vote? Council,
I do.
go ahead.
I'm going back to the park issue. Just so everybody that is still remaining here understands, this council has looked at everything that I have brought forward to this council, to the former council. We have discussed transferring the lights because the existing bulbs that are on our field right now are metal halide, and they are obsolete. If you find one bulb, it's $150. So transferring over to LED is the only option. The current bid we have for one field was $163,000. To do that for all 4 fields comes to $330,000. This is still Rogersville. Fencing, looked at that for all 4 fields, roughly $45,000 to $55,000 because they want the coated fence. The fields, we looked at taking a field a year, improving it, bring in a bona fide sports field guy, each field $30,000. And that field has to be shut down that summer so that they can work on it. So that means whoever's field we're working on, they're playing games away. Okay? As they mentioned, we could do it in the fall. No. Because you need live sunshine to get these things done. Nets, we can throw $25,000 into nets all day long. The bottom line is you're at a ballpark. Foul balls happen. I have went to Pee Wee ball games. I went to Little League ball games. I went to high school ball games. I've been to college. I've been to semi-pro. And if you ever watch Major League Baseball, guess what? There's foul balls. You can't put a net around everything. But we're going to try. Trust me. We'll do our damnedest to get that place as far fixed as we can. But it's going to take time and it's going to take money.
And patience.
That's right. Now, let me throw something else at you. We also need help from the leagues. I have personally talked to both of those guys, and both of those guys are working hard. But this past week, was opening week at the ball field. Monday night was opening night. Every granddaddy and grandmother probably was at those fields Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday night because that was opening day. And guess what? We didn't have a concession stand.
I received complaints on that too.
I did too. And I talked to the people responsible. And they told me they didn't have time. Those concession stands took in last year alone $22,000. That money was split between baseball and softball. So we need help, not just from the council, but from the people that are involved in this. So the council will do their part. I guarantee you I'll push every issue I can. Everybody up here will. But, you know, we've even heard complaints because we're pursuing pickleball courts. Not everybody plays baseball and softball. We heard those complaints when we built additional tennis courts. It's amazing, we built the tennis courts and our high school was able to play on their home court. And guess what they did? They won state 3 years in a row.
And I was skeptical about this.
I know.
I'm gonna be honest. I was the most skeptical thing ever. I was wrong.
And if you really want to see skeptical, think about what we thought about when we built basketball courts up there.
But we got a nice park.
That's right. But let me tell you something. You want to see something used? Drive by there on a 25-degree day and it's spitting snow, and they're out there playing basketball
all the time.
But we received complaints because we built basketball courts, tennis courts, and pickleball courts, and disc golf.
And that's busy.
That's busy.
We had lights on disc golf, they played at night.
That's right.
Yeah.
The day we opened our disc golf, we had a tournament. So, I'll do everything I can for our parks and recreation like I have for the last years. I'll do anything I can for this town. I'll agree with you, we need a Chamber of Commerce. Our Chamber of Commerce is not there for several reasons.
Yeah, there's quite a few reasons.
There's several reasons.
But we in the process of getting that
That's
Chamber
right.
of Commerce back as of today.
And I agree with you, we need a website. And we need a website that's updated.
We
that
all
can have
know
access.
that anywhere any of
Yes.
us wants to go in this country, we can Google
Yes.
a website and we can find events and do things. We know that. And we've really worked hard on trying to get, we thought the last time we had a website that was very user friendly, and it wasn't user friendly. So it was as far as user friendly. So nobody has really good access of uploading information quick. And that's what we need. I mean, if we got an event coming up or come up with an event, we need to be able to put it out there quick. So we haven't been able to do that. And we are struggling on that one.
Sure. So, that's all I have.
I mean, I have to be honest, as far as events, I don't know what, nobody's calling town hall and saying, hey, we have this event this weekend.
Yeah.
So if I don't know about it, I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, the communication.
I didn't
Yeah.
know downtown was having one until you brought it to my attention and put those things. So if I don't know about the town events, I mean, when I can't post anything.
But you can do stuff pretty
That's right.
And I don't
better
say,
now
and
than
I
what
don't
we
stay
could.
on Facebook all day long
Yeah.
up here.
No.
I don't get on Facebook.
Yeah,
It's
and I
not
don't see it on Facebook.
Don't put it on Facebook, but we can put banners on 72 where people can see it. We can put banners on 207.
Yeah.
We can put banners all over the place, on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Just don't put it over the highway.
And
Because
I'm
the
not
state will take it
expecting
down.
on the website, I just have to know about it. If you call up to town hall or send me an email, then I can put it out there.
There was nothing on the website at all, not even about your town hall meeting, or about your city council meeting tonight, so.
Was it the right, okay, was it the right?
It was on Facebook. It was on Facebook, but it's not on your Rogersville website.
I seen it on town of Rogersville.
Because I looked it up sitting in here and it wasn't.
I seen it on town of Rogersville.
It is on Facebook. I don't know about
It's
the
on
website,
Facebook,
but
but not
that
on the
was,
website. Yeah.
that website was done before my
And I love Facebook, well, California, we don't use Facebook, that's where I'm from. Out here, I had to use Facebook again because that's how people know what's going on. Most of them, not all. There's an older part of the generation that does not use Facebook, and there's people that refuse to, but that is how I get most of my information for my shop out there is Facebook right now.
All you gotta do is look up Randy too, he puts it on his page, he puts it on there too.
Well, I know that, but I mean, if someone, like, I go to a new area and I'll look up the town, I'll look up stats, I'll look up Wikipedia, I'll go into their website, and Rogersville doesn't have much to represent itself, is all I'm saying at this point.
Well, I try to post a lot of stuff on my council page too, with different stuff. Organizations, stuff.
So we can say, the website is saying,
It's an error.
an error.
Okay.
Well, I just pulled it out.
Yeah.
Because not everybody does
Just
This
Facebook.
have
one?
to figure it out.
.gov?
Yeah, there's nothing.
That's what Kelly said.
Well, there may be technical difficulties.
Yeah, it was set up to
Are you an iPhone or a
automatically
Samsung?
do joint activity. Yeah, I did events, there's no events listed, there's nothing on the calendar.
We'll look into the website issue. Any more?
The meetings though, it was set up on the website where it automatically posted when our council meetings were. Like that was set up in advance before my time. So it was supposed to it's supposed to automatically put on there, but right now it's not even pulling up.
It's not.
But that, we have somebody else that set up that website, another company. So, but I don't know what's on it.
We'll look into the website. Any council?
Yeah, I was in the bank Friday and they told me our line of credit, the application had expired. Do I need to get on the agenda for next month, next meeting on that? That should be something you can.
He can handle
You
that
can handle that.
without any vote.
Say it again, the councilman, the line of credit
It's a bank.
had expired,
Yes.
The application form.
the application.
You just fill it out again and,
Okay.
that and that CD we talked about putting on, 75,000 on CD.
Yes.
Okay. With, Citizens Bank? Okay. I'll go up there tomorrow.
Okay.
Councilman Andrews? Any other councilman?
I make the motion to adjourn.
Second? Does anyone object? All right, we're adjourned.
No, I'm not even.
You know,
Yeah.